So I thought I just came up with like the best feeling lateral hip movement I've ever done. So I figured I'd film it, turn it into an Instagram reel, but let's just say that I'm not prepared for what the comment section on Instagram would say if they saw this. Anyways, it is day 24 of the cut, sitting at 271.8 this morning, and I really don't want to do speed squats right now. But Darrell is like 4.5 months out from his meet, and I'd be a really shitty training partner if I let him run speed squats alone at the start of meet prep. So I'm gonna hurry my ass up and get my shoes and sleeves on. I was walking through a field of rainbows and unicorns, and it was like more muscular, more muscular, more muscular.
More rainbows.
And what's even worse about me deciding to do this today is not only are we using the SSB, Darrell's also doing 1.5s, and I'd be a really shitty training partner if I didn't do 1.5s with him. It's kind of able going no hands, but it feels maybe not today. And back in my shirt, not just for advertising. January 31st, these guys are going away and never coming back, so make sure you grab one before then. But also because I hate wearing a belt and a sweater at the same time, just because the sweater makes the belt holes weird compared to what I'm used to. Goal is to use all the cardio I've been doing to kill Darrell's rest times. Yep.
Come on.
Yep. Good.
Drop. Fuck yeah. Reset. Yep. Drop. Fuck yeah.
Also more fun when I'm in shape. I think like the good thing about trying to run that pace is it makes me stop being a pussy with my setup. Like it's just like fucking setup, who gives a fuck, make it good enough. And like I was kind of saying there, I don't even think that the big benefit of speed work is the explosivity, is the bar speed. I think that the real benefit is from a more like mental intensity type aspect. And what I mean by that is like when we're treating like that with that much intent, with that much intensity, with the rest times pushed that freaking tight, it forces us to just perform and execute in the absence of thought and in the absence of overthinking. And at least for myself, being able to practice execution in the absence of having to think about it leads to so much better performance on the platform when I really should just be executing without having to think about what I'm doing in the first place. And I am aware that what I was saying there compared to what I was talking about in the last vlog with the rest times on hypertrophy work and how if we're doing hypertrophy work, it's so important to rest adequately so we can contract as hard as possible, produce as much mechanical tension as possible. But again, the goal of speed work, I'm trying to get out of speed work, isn't mechanical tension, it is that mental technical practice, and the tight rest times forces me to do better at that mental technical aspect, and I'm not really worried about getting any sort of hypertrophy benefit anyways, and it's light enough that I can still smash it regardless of rest. Now that bullshit's over with, we're gonna run some block pulls. Plan is 3 triples that don't totally suck. And if we're thinking about why I'm training the block pull right now, if we think about position, the bar is higher off the ground, which for me means less knee bend, which means less leg drive, which means the pull becomes more hips and low back, which is what my pull needs. And if you're wondering why I'm not just doing a stiff leg, I'm doing a stiff leg next to challenges leverages. These are here to challenge it with loading. Sick Cameo by Strongman Darrell. And I don't want 270 to be a work set, so we better fucking smash it.
Yep. Good push. Over it.
So going 290, which I think should be right in the sweet spot. If it sucks, we'll just conjugate and change variation next week. And moving the camera for two reasons. One, Milos is here doing, I don't know what the fuck with the cambered bar. I'm excited to see. But don't want to be, camera in the way he's training. And I also am unsure if my stance is a little bit too wide right now, so I want to film from the front so I can peep on that. Okay, so what actually are you doing here?
I'm like Zercher deadlifting from here, from about mid. I'm just lifting it up. It just like every so I lift weights 3 times a week. So every second day I do some sort of hip hinge deadlift movement. So this is considered a hip hinge movement.
I mean, I'm okay with it. Yeah, I ain't doing these. And there's a combo rack in the way of like direct front view, so I guess we're over here and that's gonna work good enough, but chalk and belt and we'll go. Medium hype levels for this one.
Yep. Stay over it. Yep. Over it. Yep.
I actually brought the stance in a little bit because I suspected it was too wide. Felt a lot better, so hopefully doesn't look shitty. Yeah, looked about as better as it felt, so we'll stick about there. And like, part of the whole not being sure of my stance is me being a dumbass, but it's also part Kabuki bar having different neural widths than standard power bar, and then me being too much of a dumbass to be able to account for it. Okay, set 2 time.
Stay over it.
Kind of botch trying to pump off the block on the first one, but I mean, it's a stiff bar block pull. It's hard to pump well, so I'm okay with how it moved. And I guess Darrell is about to pause more than I'm block pulling, so we should probably watch it. Yeah! Yep! Let's go! Hold. Yep! Yeah, that was neat.
Come on.
Let's go. Over it.
Easy. Walk out. There.
Yeah, we turned her up just a little bit for that one. And now comes the segment of the workout where we are challenging with leverages rather than just straight up loading. Because we are running some stiffies on the stiff bar, and based on what we did last week, I figure 3 in the green should be decent for set 1, and if we make her go well, we'll go up for set 2, so let's make her go well. Yeah, we are most definitely going the fuck up. And I was thinking of going 3 in a blue, but then I remembered 800 ain't gonna pull itself, And we gotta quit being a pussy at the shit that's gonna build it. Woo! And for those of you who haven't been keeping up with the international shit talking on the vlog, Jordan Wong talked shit to me about my back raises, so I put the platform under it, made it a little harder to talk shit to him, and then Trevor Jaffe took offense to that, and then decided to talk shit to Darrell and I, so now we got to do the lame, stupid Trevor plate stack version and beat Trevor at his own game, even if his game is a little bit silly. I think I'm just going to start at his work set. And if Trevor wants to whine about the plates being on the bottom of the machine, our machine is higher this way, so whatever, it's fine. We'll beat him anyways. This was his work set, which is fuck. Just watch the thing. Oh. Okay, so 2 more plates than Trevor had as my second set. Tossed the loading plate in because we saw Darrell get a little funky there, so I don't know. Expecting to not be hard. Turns out that was a colossal fucking waste of time because the limitation there is not how much we can hold in the hands or how much we can back raise. The limitation is that if we stack up enough plates to make it heavy, it just runs into the bottom of the fucking pad and then we can't do it. So I'm gonna go back to the original plan and run Nordics. And we dropped her down another couple to make it more harder. Fucking love this thing, Norb. So good. And I probably should have done this earlier in the session, but I forgot because I'm stupid. So once again, I didn't get it high enough. The fuck? Where's this? Can't get it up, Vance.
Higher. Now. Yeah.
Okay. The good news is I'm too much of a pussy to load it up, so I'm fine. I'm fine with how it is. Cole used to load it up, but like he kept tweaking his quad, so he's now just doing 4 plate reps. So, and we're gonna go with widey, lowy, adductor quaddy combo once again, but starting with more plates on the stupid thing than we did last time. And that is significantly heavier than last time, so I'll have to work harder than I was planning, but we'll be okay. I know last video I said I should have put the heel shoes on. I'm just saying fuck it and let the heels come up today. That was fun. Okay, set number 2. I probably should have done a warm-up set because this actually feels much better than the last one, so we'll just chug it out. Man, never thought I'd be the guy that enjoys leg presses, but guess I do. And we're going supinated rows on here, starting at 4, and probably just feel a couple of reps. You know, think about what we want to load on there, and yeah, we'll go up. And like, in all reality, 6 is probably a little heavy for these, but I mean, I'm in a saucy mood and it's fun. And Miana and Darrell are over there hogging the standing leg curl that I freaking love. So for a little extra hammy touch, and we're gonna see if I can figure out how to make this thing work that I've never used before. I gotta slide the seat backwards a hair, maybe. How do I do that? Too much. Or, no. Okay. Ah! Okay. Okay, a sec. We're gonna try to figure out how to use this thing, and I grossly overestimated how difficult the sack would be on that first attempt, so we lightened her up a good chunk, and like, pretty decent feel, I think. And I kind of like some seated leg curls, but like the problem with this one is that I'm kind of shoved in a little bit weird, and there's nothing to like pull myself forward on to pull me into a deeper stretch. I guess I could extend that a little further. I don't know, I'm getting a good pump at least. Which is going to transition into good mechanical tension once I get the reps adequately pushed. And I've kind of ranted on this before, but the whole like pump versus mechanical tension for hypertrophy, the way I kind of conceptualize the two of them is that the way I achieve mechanical tension is digging really freaking hard into a pump with a heavy weight. And then that way you're kind of getting the best of both worlds, and it kind of helps me make sure that my intent stays high enough on my hypertrophy type accessory, so I'm not just being a total asshole when I'm doing them. And we're gonna crank into some more single leggers on here. Fairly steep. Feels less like I'm gonna die than last time. And like, I still do recognize that when trying to stimulate tissue growth, achieving adequate tension is probably gonna be, or probably should be, #1 priority. But if you can get a pump at the same time, why not? Because pumps are fun. Oh, except for when it's like a dirty hip flexor pump deep inside of your abdomen. Oh, you're good, Andrew, don't worry. I always think that like when people walk in the frame, it almost makes it more real, you know? Yeah. Feels less like it's like a polished studio. And then it makes it less stressful too.
Yeah, it's probably really hard to.
Yeah, it's like there's no way you can avoid it, so might as well embrace it.
Too busy.
Started slipping off the side there. Yeah, pleasantly freaking surprised with how strong things felt today. And like with myself personally, when I am in an off season a long way from meet, like I'm so far away from meet right now, I really don't put too much thought into how performance is fluctuating, like when I feel really strong or when I feel really smashed. And I kind of just like let things wave very naturally. I don't try to force myself in any real rhythm. Like I do still typically like think of exercise waves in 3-week blocks, but I really don't care where performance falls. And kind of what I mean by that, or what I'm kind of trying to get at, is like a long way from a meet, my biggest goal is just to push as hard as necessary every single training day. And if I just push as hard as necessary every single training day, I'm going to have some days like today where we freaking cooked. I'm gonna have other days kind of like last week's block pull day where I had to struggle to bring it, but we still brought it well enough to get something done to set up this week. And I think that if you can wrap your head around that style of very flexible off season, I think it can be very beneficial, because the number one thing is you're going to develop such skill in auto regulation. And because we're in an off season, we don't have the loading pressure of a meet. Like we don't have the pressure that we think we need to be strong on a given day. So it's much easier to learn how to accept those bad weeks when you are a long way out. And the better you can start to kind of accept those performance drops, the better you're going to be able to do it, the more productive you're going to be able to make those weeks be. And the more productive you can make those weeks be when performance is low, the more productive your off-season meet prep is going to be as a whole, because a productive meet prep isn't just about having 3 good squat days. A productive meet prep is going to be about having an entire prep where your squat gets as much better as it can every single session. And that getting as much better will not always be directly related to weight on the bar. There are going to be other measures of progress that we need to be looking at: technique, execution, intent, speed, etc., 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 etc. And I think with that, like the closing point that I want to touch on is the biggest difference mentally between intermediate lifters and really freaking good lifters is that like beginners, intermediates, their only way to track progress is going to be weight on the bar and weight on lifts. Whereas the more advanced lifters get, the more they recognize that things can indicate increases in strength without necessarily needing to show it in pure weight on the bar. And like, if you squat 600 pounds one week and it's kind of hard, you squat 600 pounds 6 weeks later and it's not that hard, you got stronger. You don't need to go 620 to show yourself that you got stronger. And if you can wrap your head around that, you'll be a much better lifter much sooner. And I think on that note, I should probably quit rambling and close this sucker out. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so freaking much to everyone who ordered this shirt so far. I am so grateful for it. And I think like the big thing with that is when I started the relaunch, like my kind of fear was in a way that they wouldn't sell, because when we did the clothing before, we had a lot of drops that really didn't sell. And I think how awesome the reception has been so far, what it kind of means to me is that it means that doing this is worth doing. And it's kind of reinforcing that for myself, at least, I just need to kind of keep on doing this, keep on helping as many people as I can. And one way or another, we are all gonna get better together. So thank you so much again, guys. Peace out. Have a good rest of your night.